Hello everyone and welcome to What a Card Wednesday. Thank you for joining me for another card creation. Today we are going to be using Papercraft Inspiration issue 173, and I don't even actually have this magazine, but I was searching for another magazine that I did have online and I came across this design and thought it would be fun to create. So these are the 3 cards that we will be making today, and I realized that I forgot to put the link to the pad and paper that we're going to be using today for you in the previous video. So here is the link that we're going to use. I have it linked down below on this video, as well as I've just recently included it in the prior video. That was the one for Father's Day. So once you click on the link, you will come to Paper Inspirations website and the actual card set that we'll be making today. It's called Vintage Letter. And if you scroll down, you'll see all of the pattern paper that we'll be using. What you need to do is click on each image and the new page will open up. You right click on that image and you can save image as, and then you will be able to save it as a JPEG to your computer. So as you see here, I've done all of those pages and I've printed them out as well. So now that you know how to locate the pages, let's get together and start creating. Okay, so here are the pages printed out. I printed them out on 32-pound paper, and it's from Hammermill. I picked this up off of Amazon. It has a premium color, and I really love the way that this prints out and actually feels it's very smooth. So I printed out each of the pages one time. And then on the one with the feathers, I actually put this through my printer again and printed it a second time with the airplane pattern on the back side of it. So everything that we need is really here, even the sentiments. All that we really need is maybe some twine and card base. So for the card base, I'm using a white cardstock. That's Recollections. I'm using this color here, is called Mary, and this is from Doris. And I'm using this one here called Grapevine, also from Doris. Both of these have a textured type of cardstock, while the white is just smooth. Please use whatever type of cardstock you have in your stash that will match the patterns that we have in these papers. The next thing we need to do is cut down our cardstock to get our card base. We need to do that 3 times, and we're going to cut it at 7 by 5. So this is what the size will look at, 7 by 5. Do that 2 more times. The next thing you'll do is put this on your scoreboard and score at 3.5. And fold in and burnish. And we now have the base of our card. Complete this 2 more times with your other color cardstock, or if you're using all white, that's okay too. The next thing you'll need to do is to cut down your paper and remove any white that is the border. Now remember, when you are cutting these apart, that we printed on the back side of the feather one the arrow paper plane design. So they do not actually match when you print them. I should have probably mirrored the image so that it would be exactly the same width and height as the feathers. So I'm going to have to cut off some extra white along the side. So in case you did that as well, I just wanted to point that out. And then on the typewriter section, we will have additional pieces on the back side, But it's okay if we only are using the front, it won't matter. So I don't know that we'll be using these extra images there. So that's the nuance with that piece. And then the other ones you'll just continue to cut out. So you'll have little pieces of those pattern papers. And then for these two pieces, you'll want to go ahead and fussy cut these images out because we will be using some of these during the card making. The next thing we want to do is cut down our pattern paper to 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. This will provide an 1/8 of an inch border around the card when we adhere this to the base. Continue to do that to your typewriter paper as well as your feather paper. When you're done, you will have the typewriter, the feather, and the postal paper, all three at 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. You will also need to print the postcard page an additional time because when you print that out, you will need to cut down the postcard paper to 4 3/4 long ways and 3 1/4 this way. So you'll have one landscape and one portrait. The next thing you want to do is to take your feather pattern paper, and we want to fold over the top left, down, across, and then burnish this side. You can do this by matching up your corner and folding over to where the paper will meet this side and burnish, or you could even put it in your scoreboard and score it that way before folding. So in the end, it will look like this. So for the white card base, this is what it will look like when we adhere it all, but we're not going to do that just yet. I'm just showing you. This will be the first layer. This will go on top of that. Okay, so that's the first card. Again, we're not adhering anything yet. For the landscape card, we are using the Carta Postal paper. That'll be the first layer. For the next layer, we want to take the postcard and correspondence looking paper and cut out a 4 by 2 1/2 paper, and that would leave us with this. That would go on next. Next, we will take the paper with the pen and floral, and we will cut out a 3 3/4 by 2 1/4 paper, and that will then be layered on top of the correspondence and postcard paper. And it will look like this. Again, don't adhere anything yet. We're just kind of getting our layers together. Now we need to go back to this particular card again because I forgot about a layer that was on top of here. So what I did was I took a scrap piece of the correspondence page and cut that out. And this is 5/8 by 3 1/4, and that will get layered on here about 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom of that page, the feather page. Okay, and then we'll be putting a sentiment on top. So maybe we will start with this card. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do to put the card together is add some adhesive to the back. I am using 1/4 of an inch of scrappy tape. I'm going to try and center this down pretty good. Okay, that looks good. Next, we're going to add this piece on top. Again, I've used the same type of adhesive. And I'm going to add it by lining up the bottom, I think would be best. There we go. Score that down. Burnish, I mean. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of my art glitter glue and glue a little bit of this corner down. There we go. We'll add here our little correspondence piece, at least that's what I'm calling it. Again, about 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. And so I cut this out of the ephemera that was included in the pages, this Just a Note. I've put foam tape on the back of that. I'm going to adhere that across the little strip here. I got these from Joanne, Miss Sparkle & Co. Okay, now because this color kind of matches this, or it actually does, I'm going to align it where the arrow is on that same color. I just think it will look more cohesive that way. So you can see there that the arrow is going straight on that color, and it matches the color that's around the Just a Note. Very cute. And from the Dollar Tree, I picked up these Crafter Square Notions buttons, and I found this perfect purple color that we can add right here to the corner. I know the kit came with some. They had some paper buttons, but I decided to use real ones. So I'm going to adhere this down with art glitter glue as well. Hoping that will stay there. There we go. Now you all know that usually when I find something in a magazine or whatever, I usually make a change to it, so I'm going to do that as well with these. In this particular card, it had the baker's twine on it. I really didn't see a need for that, so right now I'm not sure I'm going to use that. It also had envelopes here, and I thought it would be cuter to use the little airplanes. These were all included in the kit, or the little, you know, the decorative pages. So I thought it might be fun to stick them in here to match this paper. So we'll lay these out and see how it looks. I mean, they can even go off onto the typewriters. They could go off onto the actual paper. Like, how cute is that? Well, maybe here. I think I like this idea a lot. We could put that one here. So I'm going to go ahead and try and decide where I want these, and I'll glue them down. I think I'm wanting that one up here. Like, how cute are these things? I love them. Instead of putting the envelopes, because we're going to already have a card with envelopes. So I'll do that and I'll come back. Okay, so here's how it turned out after I added all the paper airplanes, and I also added Winka Stella to the dotted lines. I think it looks really cute, and I'm happy with using the airplanes rather than the envelopes, because if you make a little card set that you want to give to somebody, it's nice to have that variety. So I think this is adorable. For the inside of the card, I cut out one of the airplanes with the little love tag on it and added that there for some added decoration, and then that gives them plenty of room to write their message and sign. Okay, On to the next one. Okay, now we're going to work on the next portrait size card here. We're going to add the postcard decorative paper to the card base. And burnish that down. I'm using the same adhesive that I did for the first card. And next we're going to add the pen to the bottom part. Again, we're going to line that up with the bottom of the paper here. And burnish that. In the kit, it provided several envelopes, so I just cut those out and added a little glue to the side of them. I added the 2 outside flaps in first, put a little glue on them here, and then folded this flap over that had the flat side on it up, and then we have our little envelopes. These are adorable. So we have 4 of them to use on this card, and then I also took some baker's twine and I created a fork bow, 2 different ones. The length of the string hanging is about 3 inches, maybe 3 1/4, so it was probably about 6 inches when I started. So the design calls for 2 strands of the twine, and then the envelopes are hanging from them, as well as this little message. I didn't like all the bows. It just looks too bunchy. I don't know. So I thought we would try it a different way, and that would be to add the bow there, have this kind of drape along and be glued on this side. We'll have a little envelope in there, and then have a bow start down here, and then have it drape up on the other side and glue the other side, as if it was kind of going around the card. I actually realized after I put down the base, or the first layer, that I probably should have waited and actually put the twine around it. But that's okay, we can still do it this way and get the same effect. So let's give this a try. I'm wondering if I should do this one up here, and then the smaller one down here, I think. I think that would be better. Yeah. Okay. Just gonna put a little dab of our glitter glue on there. And then I want to get this end glued down over here. And so our envelopes will go behind them. I think I'll put, oops, maybe we should let that dry first, I guess. Okay. Let's see. Put this. I think what we'll do is put this end on first. Okay, we'll give that a moment to dry. Okay, I think we're ready to add the envelopes. I did take a little ink and go around each of the corners. So I think we'll add a little dab of glue here to close them on the line. And for the seine, we're just going to glue this onto the twine. So we'll put our glue directly on it. Now, if you wanted to, you could add a little glue underneath the envelopes so that they don't move very much. They don't seem to wiggle around much as it is, so that's pretty good. And if you wanted, you could add little gemstones or little stickers, like little hearts, I think would be cute right there. I don't know, maybe I'll try that out. It looks so cute. On the inside, what I did was I cut out another piece of the floral paper with the lines and added it here on the inside. Okay, I did decide to add little rhinestones here, so I thought I'd show you that. Looks cute. Okay, so now we're going to work on the final card, and I'm going to do something a little different as well. They have the baker's twine going back behind the card, and I am going to try to do it to where the twine would be going behind the first layer, so that when you put it on, it's there and not on the inside, because that would make me want to put something up here. So we'll take the first layer for this card, and we will add our correspondence page to it. I am using foam dots again from Joann's. Getting that centered as best we can. And then next we will adhere our floral piece. I've already added the scrappy tape to it. And the floral will be up on the right hand side. And centering that. Looks like when we get those two layers together. So I cut off a good portion of that baker's twine. We're going to take it behind these three layers and wrap it around, and then bring it up and create a bow. Make sure the sides don't curl up. Adjust your bows however you like it, and then we can cut off the extra. Now if you want to, at this point, you can move the twine however you like it. Okay, so now that we have that tied, we're going to add our typewriter, and what I've decided to do is use foam tape, and then I'm going to put the twine in between the little hole here. So I can actually look down in there and see that I have all of the twine in the center behind the foam, in between the foam. So that is the top of our card. Previously I added the adhesive to the back, and we will take this off and then add it to the base of our card. Make sure you put the twine where you want it because it will get glued down in the back. We can fix our bow when we're done if we need to. Okay, I'm going to open this up, I think. I think that might be the best way to do it. Try to get this centered. I'm going to use my bone folder here to try and make it a little better contact. So there it is. I think what I'm going to do is add just a little bit of glue here and there to hold down the bow. And maybe I'll think about adding something in the middle, and I'll come back and show you. So here's the card after I glued down just a few spots of the bow and added some elements to the inside. I'm going to put like a little glitter spot there or something. But otherwise, I consider that done. So here's the 3 cards that we made today. I think these are so cute. I love the paper, and I will probably make the envelopes offline and just show you a picture of them in the end, because this video is already probably longer than normal since we did 3 cards today. But I thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.